Husband White Moonlight was sexually harassed by brother-in-law when she came to the wedding. I stepped in to save the day and pulled her behind me to protect her. But husband thought it was me, jealous rivalry, purposely harming White Moonlight. You know full well my brother's nature. How could you let him near him? You even jealously rivalry to this extent. I'm going to make you learn a lesson. He twisted his head around and sent private photos of me to his group of brothers, locking me in my new room with his groomsmen on our wedding night and letting them abuse me in the name of wedding pranks. I struggled and hissed, but I heard husband's cold voice coming from outside the door. Now you know to beg for mercy. Let's see if you still dare to target M again. 3 hours later, husband then voiced out through the door to stop it. Wedding pranks are here. Let her reflect alone. Groomsmen looked at each other in horror, not daring to make a sound. Because at this time, I, bleeding all over my body, completely cut off. Lena Ruan, the schemer. It's time for her to learn a lesson. Eric Gus' voice came through the door of the new room. I also vaguely heard his White Moonlight Emily Jiang. Fake concern. Eric. Xiao Yin shouted half a day inside. Is she really okay? Eric Gu lightly snorted. She can have what matter. Those brothers of mine are all people with a sense of proportion. Just giving her a bit of a scare. You're too soft-hearted. That Lena Ruan woman is playing a trick on you, and you're still helping her out. Through the door of the room, I seemed to feel Emily Jiang's smug face. Eric. If the old man hadn't stopped, today's wedding would be ours, right? But in the end, she's the one who's going to be in charge now. But in the end, she is now your nominal wife. You really bear to let her wedding become a wedding pranks. My pupils were dilated, and Eric Gus' grunt of laughter was particularly harsh. What's there to bear or not to bear? I've already paid for her whole life. She owes you. I closed my eyes in despair, letting the blood soak the red sheets and then drip onto the floor. My empty heart suddenly throbbed with despair. 3 hours later, Eric Gu caught a glimpse of the wedding photo with me in the living room. He unhurriedly got down from Emily Jiang's body and walked to the door of the new room. His voice was cold. Brothers, the wedding poles are here. Let her reflect alone. The 5 men in the room heard it and looked at each other in horror. Because at this time, I died to the tragic grimace. Good. One of the buzzcut guy man shivered and answered. Did not dare to tell Eric Gu my tragic situation. Eric Gu put his hand on the doorknob, looked to open the door to go in. I suddenly wondered what Eric Gus' reaction would be if he saw me in this miserable state. However, when Eric Gu was about to open the door, Emily Jiang suddenly stopped him. He changed into his casual clothes and walked out of the house with his arm around Emily Jiang. They'll show you the new mansion I bought you. Aren't you going abroad in a few days? They'll give you a mansion before I leave. You'll love it. As I watched the two of them walk away from me, the groomsmen at this end became anxious. The groomsmen at this end were scurrying around in a hurry, and the 5 of them went from being horrified at first to blaming each other. Who the hell told you to do this? Who the fuck told you to do it? Can you blame me? This bitch is screaming so fucking annoying. I don't know which one of you guys still said you want to just finish her off with a knife. Eric's body is really good. I don't know why he's hooked on the one outside. I think this woman is still better. Let's not talk about it. What should we do with her now? If Eric Gu knows that his woman has completely cooled off with his temper, what good end do we have? The new room was instantly silent, and their eyes stared dead at my body. Buzzcut guy people instantly clapped their hands together and said their own means. Subsequently, I could only watch my body, wrapped in plastic wrap by 5 people, brutally stuffed into the suitcase. No, we still have to clean up the blood in the room. I stared at the men underneath, unconsciously clenching my fists. I thought Eric Gu wouldn't even come back tonight, but I didn't expect him to rush back in his car half an hour later without Emily Jiang behind him. I floated alone in midair, watching Eric Gu unscrew the door handle. The door was locked by someone on the inside. I observed Eric Gus' originally calm face flashed a hint of sulking. Lena Ruan, what are you in a temper for again? Open the door for me. Eric Gu paused for a long moment. The bodies of the groomsmen inside who were mopping up the blood on the floor stiffened, and the 5 of them were completely flustered. As Eric Gus' patience wore thin, he began to slam the door. Lena Ruan, on the count of 3, open the door. 3. The groomsmen were in a hurry. The new house was huge, but the windows had already been nailed shut. 2. I stared coldly at the people under my eyes, hatred spreading throughout my chest. In the next second, Eric Gu unexpectedly swung the hammer on the table and smashed it hard on the handle. The door splintered open and his body lurched. Why are you guys still here? Eric Gu stared at the 5 brothers in the room and couldn't help but frown straight away. Didn't I tell you guys to make a scene for 2 or 3 hours and then leave? How long has it been? The guests have all dispersed, right? The 5 groomsmen looked at each other in dismay. And Buzzcut Guy hurriedly spoke up. Brother Gu, we have a... Oh yes. It's your woman hot. She locked our brother in the door, can't get out I saw Eric Gus' face flashed a trace of skepticism, but fleetingly, he reached out and covered his nose. Why is there a fishy smell in this room? And why are the sheets missing? The 5 best men seemed to be afraid of Eric Gus' family. After all, Gus' family has power and influence in Seattle. So for a moment they were so scared that their hands trembled. Eric Gu stared at the buzzcut guy in the lead, and continued to ask, Andy Chen. I'm asking you a question. Is there something you're hiding from me? The 5 best men are Eric Gus' friends and followers. At this time Eric Gu roared. 5 people dare not come out of the atmosphere. Andy Chen has always been smooth. At this time, even if the hand in the hidden trembling, but still answered without changing color. Brother Gu, we are today in the room when the woman thought that we are going to do something, and even the Lucas Lin's hand to the bleeding. So there is a bloody smell. As for the bed sheets, the woman thought that we were going to do something. And so the woman thought that we were going to do something. The smell of blood. As for the bed sheet, that woman gave to go along. She said that she did not want to marry you anymore or something. We cannot stop. After he finished speaking, he did not forget to look at Eric Gus' face. Sure enough, the next second, Eric Gu eyes flashed a trace of harshness. Lena Ruan, this bitch. In vain. I was worried that she was alone in the room, so I left M behind and rushed here. I didn't expect that she didn't realize her mistake at all. The crowd looked at him in this manner and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Brother Gu, thanks to you, we were able to get out, right? We won't get involved in your couple's business now. Our buddies are tired after a long day, so we'll go back first. Happy wedding, Brother Gu. A few of the best men gave each other a wink, and after blowing Eric Gu a kiss of ass, they were about to leave. Eric Gu nodded, took out his cell phone and dialed my number. Lena Ruan, the schemer, running away on your wedding night. So saying. My cell phone rang sharply. It's still Eric Gus' favorite song from when he and I were in love. However, at this moment, the air froze for a moment, and the hearts of the 5 groomsmen seemed to be in their throats. Because the cell phone was ringing in the suitcase pushed by the buzzcut guy. Wait a minute. Eric Gus' eyes chilled, his gaze glancing at the dial page in his hand, and then staring at the suitcase in Andy Chen's hand. Is Lena Ruan's cell phone inside you? How come it's in your case? Eric Gu stared at Andy Chen's scared white thin face and approached slowly step by step. The words he squeezed out from between his teeth seemed to be with a ferocious aura. What? In the end, are you hiding from me? If I find out, you guys know my methods. Brother Gu. Andy Chen straight kneeled on the ground, cowed out again and again. Brother Gu. I know wrong. You know I used to be accustomed to petty thievery. So just now I saw a mess. Ruan's cell phone looked worth money, so I quietly took it. Brother Gu. I'm wrong. Andy Chen's head was knocked out, not forgetting to give the next few best men a quick wink. The rest of the 4 people see the situation, hurriedly swarmed forward. Gu brother. Andy Chen, this guy buddies also said he. Brother Gu. Our buddies have come all the way here, so don't bother with Andy Chen. Yes. Brother Gu. It's just a cell phone. Just consider it as a best man gift for him. Eric Gus' deep emotion is obscure. He stared at the page displayed on the cell phone. A long time. He flung a card from his pocket. $1 million in the card. The 5 of you will share. As for Lina Ruan's cell phone, you cannot take it away. Lucas Lin, who was beside him, hurriedly said, Brother Gu, why? That woman escaped on her wedding night with you. And her broken cell phone. You can consider it as a gift to us. And by the way, give her a lesson. Anyway. Lucas Lin thought that he had a very good point. And he said, I'm not going to take it. Lin thought he was making sense. Yet Eric Gu interrupted with a cold voice. That cell phone was Lina Ruan's 18th birthday gift from her dad. And it has been with her for 3 years, now that her dad is gone. I'm worried that she'll make a scene without it. I paused in midair, listening to Eric Gus' words in silence. So he remembered that it was my dad's last gift to me. Did he remember that my dad died in a car accident to save him? And did he remember that he had personally promised my dad that he would never fail me? The 5 groomsmen at the bottom of the room were seeping cold sweat from their foreheads at the same time. And finally Andy Chen said wryly, Brother Gu, I locked the suitcase just now. And I forgot the password. Andy Chen finished, not forgetting to look at Eric Gus' face. Eric Gu frowned tightly, said angrily, Andy Chen, you fucking think I'm a fool. Usually you are used to thieving. You have to return the cell phone. Brother Gu, I really didn't lie. Give me some time. I'll unlock it when I get home and bring it to you. I have the password written down in my book at home. No. I'll ask someone to open it. How much is the case? I'll pay you back. Hey. Not. Andy Chen has not had time to finish. The doorway of the bodyguard has already smashed the hammer on the case. Suitcase broken open. The inside of the blood rush gurgling out. Eric Gus' pupils crinkled, and he stared at me with a deadpan expression. What is this? Eric Gu paused for 3 seconds, as if he hadn't seen it clearly or couldn't believe it. He took one step after another towards me. The 5 best men rushed forward to block him, but he kicked them away. After Eric Gu got close enough to see my ghastly thin face, Eric Gu fell backward to the ground in shock. Is this Lina Ruan? What have you done to her? Eric Gus' voice was trembling. In the next second, Lucas Lin shivered and defended himself. Gu, you've got it wrong. This isn't MS. Ruan. You know that when I was in school, I always liked to develop these silicone dummies. When I saw you posting MS. Ruan's private photos to the group, I saw you putting her in a room with your friends and family. Private photos when I saw you send MS. Ruan to the group. I liked it too much, so I made one of her myself with silicone. He didn't finish his sentence, and was punched in the face by Eric Gu. You're fucking sick. Scared the shit out of me. I told you Lina Ruan was a schemer. How could she die so easily? She's probably going to her so-called best friend right now to yell at me. Okay. You guys hurry up and pull this bad luck thing away. But remember to leave the cell phone behind. Eric Gu covered his nose and vomited. He took the phone and walked out of the living room. Assistant Liu, go and check where Miss Ruan escaped to from the mansion tonight. Call up her escape route. I want to go and question her in person. Am I spoiling her too much this time? I stared at Eric Gu as he walked out of the mansion again and drove in the direction of Emily Jiang mansion. The 5 best men quickly reassembled my body, and then in a few breaths moved the suitcase to the backyard under the peach tree and buried it. I watched myself, buried in such a miserable way. The 5 best men escaped in the night. Shaking with indignation, I floated into the passenger seat of Eric Gus' car. I followed him to the new mansion he'd bought for Emily Jiang. Xiao Zhe. I knew you'd stay tonight. Emily Jiang greeted me from afar, leaning shyly into Eric Gus' arms. Lina Ruan, that schemer, actually ran away. Maybe I've been spoiling her so much that she's been acting up when I give her a little punishment. But she had it coming. She let you be harassed by my stepmother's son. She was trying to lure you there on purpose, wasn't she? Eric Gu lowered his head and asked Emily Jiang, but she looked down with hesitant eyes. Of course. But don't blame her, Em. You are just too kind. You still have 3 days to leave the country. In these 3 days I can't let you suffer because of me, she said. Emily Jiang smiled lustfully, hiding the calculations under her eyes. I floated in midair, watching my husband and his white moonlight making out. The two of them were lying on the sofa. Emily Jiang went forward and was about to remove Eric Gus' clothes. However, Eric Gu held her hand. Lack of interest. Let's call it a day. My eyelids are fluttering. I always feel like something is going to happen. Emily Jiang lowered her head. Her eyes were lost and calculating. She raised her eyes but replaced them with a smile. Are you worried about Lina Ruan? I observed Eric Gus' face. He didn't answer. He seemed to be a little annoyed as he stood up and walked to the door before pulling out his cell phone and dialing. Did you find out? The assistant Lu on the other end was silent for a split second. His voice trembled. Mr. Gu, MS. Ruan is dead. The sound of the cell phone falling on the floor. Eric Gu hurriedly bent down to pick it up, but his hands couldn't stop shaking. What are you talking about? What's dead? If you dare to talk nonsense, I'll kill you. He wanted to threaten Assistant Lu to reorganize his language. However, Assistant Lu once again stated the truth. Surveillance shows that Miss Ruan did not go out of the mansion after her wedding with you, so we suspect that the one in the box that you saw tonight is Miss Ruan herself. Assistant Lu finished the last word with a trembling voice. Eric Gu but directly cursed. What the fuck are you talking about? Lina Ruan, that woman's life is very hard. When she fell from the stairs and cracked her head, did not die. How can a wedding pranks want her life? Not to mention Andy Chen's 5 boys. How dare they harm her without my order? But Mr. Gu, we did hear Ms. Ruan's screams that night. And you didn't allow us to go and help. Shut the fuck up. Eric Gu slammed his cell phone to the ground. Behind her, Emily Jiang was violently startled, and she muttered in a small voice, Xiao Zhe. I've never seen him look like this. Sure enough, only that bitch Lina Ruan can make him mad. Guess I'll have to step up my game. She got up and pretended to come to Eric Gus' side, speaking worriedly. Xiao Zhe, what happened? Is it about Lina Ruan? Seeing that she was going to hug him from behind, Eric Gu was annoyed and pulled away from her. So he pushed her and pushed Emily Jiang down to the ground. Emily Jiang cringed in pain. Eric Gu then woke up. He hurriedly helped Emily Jiang up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Emily Jiang smoothly got into Eric Gus' arms. Emily Jiang smoothly into Eric Gus' embrace. I have listened to all the words just now. In fact, I think it is a mess. Ruan's prank. What? Eric Gus' eyes lit up. He looked at Emily Jiang expectantly. Emily Jiang continued. Xiao Zhe. You see, once upon a time, Miss Ruan's pranks were still few and far between, she said. In the beginning, she jealously mischievously ripped my clothes, and pretended to be sick to make you go to see him, she said. And Eric Gus' complexion really eased a few points. But this time I feel, no need to feel, it's still a prank. Emily Jiang spoke with certainty. She pulled Eric Gu back to the bed. However, Eric Gu was still lack of interest and distracted. Sorry. I think it's better to go back to mansion to get a clear understanding. Eric Gu coldly rejected Emily Jiang. Her eyes darkened. She could only hold back her anger and said, "I'll go with you then." Vehicle driving back to the mansion. I looked at the wall clock. At this time it is already 1:30 a.m. Assistant Lu with dark circles under his eyes in front of the door waiting for a long time. Eric Gu saw him. His face again gas anger. "You said the evidence. Where is it? If you dare to lie, after today, get the hell out of here." After he finished speaking, he noticed two unfamiliar white coats standing behind Assistant Lu. "Mr. Gu, these are the forensic pathologists I hired. It is confirmed that the person in the suitcase is indeed Miss Ruan herself." After Assistant Lu finished speaking, he was punched to the ground by Eric Gu. Emily Jiang was shocked at his side. She rushed forward to stop him. Eric Gu got tired of fighting and stood up again, his eyes scarlet and scary. "Take me to her." I saw that Eric Gu's whole body seemed to have a trace of fatigue. His feet seemed to be filled with lead, and every step he took seemed to be heavy. Until he saw my body with his own eyes again, he approached me step by step. Eric Gu's sight fell on the gold bracelet on my wrist, which still had my favorite butterfly engraved on it. "Ah, get a doctor. Get a doctor. Get Yim Yim to the hospital," Eric Gu yelled, and was about to reach out and grab me when he just fainted. "He still thinks of taking me to the hospital." I laughed outright in exasperation. At this point I was powerless to do anything about it. I calmly watched the crowd carry Eric Gu away, and then carried my body out on a stretcher. Emily Jiang was scared out of a cold sweat. My death gave her too strong stimulation. Emily Jiang was directly scared to hide back to her mansion. "Impossible. Impossible." Eric Gu fainted when he saw my tragic state. I stared at the look on his face when he fainted. My heart was complicated. Eric Gu and we met 4 years ago. We were in a business marriage, and at first he was extremely cold to me. Even though we didn't have a wedding, we lived together. I memorized all his preferences and made him appetizing congee. Even I will be in his favorite look, deliberately to dress themselves. But even though I was so pleasing to him, he was still cold to me. Until that day. He walked on the road, was almost hit by a speeding vehicle to the ground. That day my father rushed to visit me, encountered this scene. He was quick to pull Eric Gu aside. But he was not able to escape. His attitude towards me changed 100 times after that. I thought at the time that he was feeling guilty about me and that he didn't love me. But in his gentle and considerate again and again, I completely fell. He accompanied me to travel to many places. I accompanied him to watch countless sunsets. He promised to love me for the rest of my life, the next life, the next life, just me. At that time, I was naive enough to think that Eric Gu really loved only me. However, after Emily Jiang reappeared, everything seemed to go back to square one. He began to treat me hot and cold. Even gullible Emily Jiang's lies, that I am jealous rivalry, make every effort to means to harm her. But he does not know, everything is Emily Jiang cocoon. So at this time I looked at the fainted Eric Gu, but not half touched in the heart. Eric Gu woke up the next day, anxious to find me. Eric Gu woke up the next day and wanted to find me, but he learned that I was about to be cremated and that my best friend Zoe Su had signed the cremation consent form. Eric Gu seemed to have gone crazy and drove to the crematorium. When he arrived and saw me about to be cremated, he ran like a madman and dragged me into his arms. "I am his legal husband. You have no right to cremate my wife without my consent. Yan Yan is still saved. I want to save her. I want to save her." As soon as his words fell, Zoe Su held back her reddened eyes and reached out to give him 2 direct slaps. "You killed my Yan Yan. You give her back to me." Zoe Su cried her heart out, and after being pulled away by the crowd, she fiercely said to Eric Gu, "It's not even if you wanted her to break off contact with me, but now you let the 5 best men abuse her to death." I floated in the air and watched all this. but a sharp stabbing pain came from the empty place of my heart. After Eric Gu thought it was Zoe Soo who taught me jealous rivalry, not letting me contact her, and not even letting me send an invitation to Zoe Soo for the wedding invitations. And now, Zoe Soo, after inquiring about my news, rushed over from out of town overnight, only to be confronted with my miserable corpse. Eric Gu endured all the rage, but still argued in a small voice. I didn't want Green's men to abuse her. I just want to punish her a little. This is my wife. You keep out of our business. Eric Gu held my body tightly. His eyes were scarlet and his whole body was trembling and shivering. After half a minute, he had his bodyguard pull Zoe Soo out. I watched as he carefully wiped my cheeks and dropped a kiss on the corner of my forehead. Then Eric Gu ordered me to be refrigerated in his house. Yen Yen, I am sorry. It is all my fault. Now, I will be with you forever. Everyone thought Eric Gu was crazy, and he started to stay at home. Eric Gu used ice to keep me intact, and kissed me on the cheek from time to time. The maids in the mansion were so shocked that they packed up their bags overnight, and then ran away after asking Eric Gu for their paychecks. Normally, Eric Gu would have scolded them severely, but at this time Eric Gu didn't bother. He just quietly looked at my tattered body and began to murmur in a self-motivated manner. Yen Yen, it would have been better if I hadn't punished you in the first place. I didn't want to harm you. Yen Yen, I've been with you for so many years. How could I not love you? I was just confused. Eric Gu complained to himself, then pulled out that cell phone of mine from his pocket. He password entered his birthday. I opened the lock screen password of the phone. Once I love him, and he said I would put the password into his birthday. Eric Gu began to look through my chat records with him. He began to stand in my perspective on my relationship with him. After a long time, he suddenly cried out, Yen Yen, so you have paid so much for me. Eric Gu exited the chat box between me and him, and then noticed the familiar avatar of Emily Jiang. He was curious and clicked in to read it. He realized that I had endured a lot after reading the unpleasant words. The last one, or Emily Jiang, sent me provocative words. Lena Ruan, I really pity you. Accompanied by Xiao Zhe. In the end is nothing. Xiao Zhe doesn't love you. I advise you to get a divorce if you have eyesight. I observed a flash of incredulity in his eyes, which turned to be colored by anger. Emily Jiang. All because of Emily Jiang. Eric Gu struggled to his feet after putting his cell phone away as he began to investigate everything. The truth was often too much for him to believe. It turns out that Emily Jiang came back from abroad specifically because she heard that he and I were organizing a wedding. And Emily Jiang, too, did not buy a return ticket abroad. Emily Jiang has been playing with Eric Gu all along. And Eric Gu also started to investigate the surveillance of the wedding site. Eric Gu stared at the security camera with his eyes fixed on the screen, and saw Emily Jiang snuggling in the arms of his stepmother's son, and the two of them behaved in an intimate manner. Then there's the scene where he crashes the scene, Emily Jiang pretending to cry and saying that it was stepmother's stepson who harassed her, saying that it was his Yen Yen who intentionally lured her there. He began to see that Yen Yen had been wronged by himself, and watched the panic, disappointment, and despair flash across Yen Yan's happy face. Yen Yen is all my fault. I used to say that I wanted to love you, to protect you for the rest of my life, to protect you for the rest of your life. I saw Eric Gu eyes painfully closed his eyes, and then like a determination in the eyes, began to plan everything. Half an hour later, Emily Jiang was kicked out of the mansion, and Eric Gu repossessed the house he bought. I drifted back into Eric Gu's passenger seat and watched as he rushed off to another location with 100 bodyguards. He slammed open the front door with force, and half a minute later, the man inside opened it drunkenly and jerked awake Gu. Gu, what are you doing? Andy Chen and his entourage were held down on the floor by the bodyguards. Eric Gu stared at them fiercely. How dare you lay your hands on my Yen Yen? Eric Gu stomped his foot on the hand of one of the best men. His face was horrible. You caused her death. You don't want to live. I'm going to make you all feel worse than death. Eric Gu's 5 so-called best buddies have been in a state of fear for a few days. Tonight, they had planned to escape after the last dinner, but Eric Gu was the first to catch them. I watched Eric Gu's scarlet eyes. His brows were filled with cruelty. The mournful cries of pain resounded throughout the house. However, they couldn't be heard because Eric Gu had someone install soundproofing around the walls beforehand. He was taking revenge on these people. At one time, they were all Eric Gu's high school followers, the so-called good brothers. But now, his so-called best buddy had gotten his own wife killed. I listened to the 5 people's mournful cries, but my heart was surprisingly calm. I watched as they started out struggling and begging for mercy, and ended up angrily cursing out. Eric Gu, you son of a bitch. Don't you have any faults of your own? What sane person sends his wife's private photos to a group of brothers? You didn't ask us to do it. You told us to trash your wife. You deserve it. Eric Gu, if you want to fucking kill us, just do it. They'll see you get what you deserve down there. You left your beautiful wife and cheated on her. Your wife deserves to hate you, right? She had tears in the corner of her eyes at the end. She said she paid the wrong man. Ha ha ha. Aw. The 5 jabbered on as they finished. And Eric Gu gave them a hard slash straight to the chest. He looked like he was in pain. It was the first time I had ever seen him like that, and Eric Gu couldn't listen to a word I said to spite him. At the end of the day, Eric Gu stumbled out of the room, ordered the bodies to be disposed of, and ran back to the mansion on his own. But he eventually came back to me. He hugged my body in agony and cried out in pain. I looked at his tears and found it very ironic. When I was alive, he didn't give me a good look for a long time and even listened to Emily Jiang's provocations. And now after my death, he put on a show of deep love. Who was he showing it to? Yen Yen. I'm really wrong. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. I just let them wedding pranks only. Didn't let them do it to you. Yen Yen. You forgive me. He trembled and spoke no matter the words. Over and over again he apologized over and over again. After an indeterminate amount of time, the doorbell rang sharply. Eric Gu opened the door, and Emily Jiang's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. She looked much better, and didn't seem to have been shocked by my tragic state again. On the contrary, after learning of my death, her heart seemed to be full of complacency. Emily Jiang dug herself into Eric Gu's arms with a calculating look in her eyes. As always, Xiaozhe, Lina Ruan is dead, so I'll be with you in his place. Okay. We used to love each other so much, but it was Gu the old man who prevented us from doing so. But now, Gu the old man is dead, and there is no obstacle between me and you. She happily planned for the future, not noticing Eric Gu's harsh eyes. See, Eric Gu did not respond. Emily Jiang tiptoed to go over. Eric Gu ruthlessly slapped her. Emily Jiang was smacked on the ground. She covered her red face, uncertain, aggrieved, and shook her head. Xiaozhe, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? How dare you show up in front of me? I was thinking of cleaning you up tomorrow, Eric Gu said, directly yanked up Emily Jiang's hair, and then dragged her hard towards the house inside. Aw, what's this? In the middle of the house, there was my body. In the transparent freezer, Emily Jiang screamed in fear, but did not wait for her to speak again. Eric Gu's hand was so strong that he directly pushed her head into the corner of the freezer. It's all because of you. You really think I don't know about the dirty things you do? You sent messages to provoke my Ian again and again. You deliberately seduced my stepmother's son during the wedding. You provoked my relationship with Ian. You deserve to die. It's all because of you. Otherwise, how could my Yen Yen die? You should pay the price. With these words, Eric Gu pushed Emily Jiang's head into the freezer again, until her head was bleeding. Eric Gu finally let go of her. Emily Jiang was so shocked that her whole body was shivering, and finally she sat down on the ground, letting the blood on her forehead gurgle and flow into her eyes, and 2 lines of bloody tears fell down. In the end, she still struggled and begged for forgiveness. Xiao Zhe, I really know I'm wrong. Forgive me. Forgive me. Okay. Lina Ruan is dead. Now only I can take care of you. Only I really love you all. Let's pretend Lina Ruan never existed. Okay. You and I are each other's first love. She was still trying to say something, but Eric Gu kicked her to the ground. You're not worthy to talk about Yan Yan. In my life, I only love her. Why did you come back to break us up? Eric Gu said, while pushing Emily Jiang's head. Emily Jiang screamed in fear, but in the end, she lost all her strength, and could only let his fists hit her body. I stared at the 2 dogs and men. I just felt sick to my stomach. Eric Gu and Emily Jiang, they are as bad as each other. When she was about to die, Emily Jiang used her last voice to say, Eric Gu, you deserve to lose what you love. Just like you deserve Lina Ruan. You're a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser. What's the point of pretending to be in love? Didn't you think of Lina Ruan while you were writing me? Eric Gu. You're the reason Lina Ruan is dead. Eric Gu pushed Emily Jiang's head to the ground again, and she didn't breathe. After an unknown period of time, the door was broken open. Many people came in from outside the mansion, and it was Eric Gu's stepmother who brought them in. Gu the old man died. Eric Gu inherited the Gu group. However, his stepmother ambitious. Only think of their own son. That is, Eric Gus stepped into the Gu group. However, Eric Gu refused. However, Eric Gu rejected all of them. His stepmother therefore holds a grudge and has long been dissatisfied with Eric Gu. Now, stepmother Ling Ying finally learned about Eric Gus' side of the news. She brought the police together to find the door. Eric Gu has this scandal. I see who still dare to let him be the president of Gus Group. Even after all the preparations, the crowd was taken aback when they saw the scene in front of them. At this moment, I was lying in the freezer. Beside me lay Emily Jiang, who was covered in blood, and Eric Gu, who was dyed in red blood. When the police took Eric Gu away, he even hugged my body like crazy. Don't separate me and Yan Yan. Let go of me. Let go of me. Take Yan Yan away too. I want to see her. However, it didn't work out as planned, and stepmother cremated Emily Jiang and me. She's been holding back for years, and Eric Gu said his stepmother was an ambitious woman who willingly married an old man 20 years older than herself, his dead father, for money. And now, finally boiled into a mother-in-law, the son she brought in a pass into the Gu group, and successfully control the entire Gu group. Eric Gu to the end of nothing to stay. He looked at the dark clouds covered the remnants of the sun. The corners of the mouth floated over a touch of sadness. The only thing that will greet him is a pair of handcuffs, and the trial of the law. Eric Gu on the day of his execution. My soul also disappeared little by little. In the beginning, it was because my obsession was so deep that my soul floated in midair without reincarnation. And now, everything has been punished. In my next life, I don't want to meet these people again. Extra. A City Sioux group this day ushered in a newborn baby, a little princess. The little princess round big eyes curiously looking at the world, surrounded by people. Piled up smiling faces. Lina Ruan has the memory of a previous life. Perhaps it is fate. This life she was reincarnated in the once her father Ruan Chang's good brother Su Rong's family. The Su family had 3 children, and everyone was looking forward to the 4th child being a little princess. So Lina Ruan's arrival became the pearl of the Su family. Wife, what should be a good name for our child? You're a log and can't speak. I think our daughter should be smart and articulate. So let's call her Yan Yan. Su Yan Yan. That's a good name. Lena Ruan looked at the couple's amiable faces and felt nothing but warmth in her heart. Just with the memories of the previous life reincarnation, more or less a little meaningless. As she was struggling, a translucent figure flashed before her eyes. The old woman held a bowl of medicinal water and poured it down her mouth. "You little fool. How can you live a good life when you haven't even drunk the Mona soup?" As the bowl of water went down, Lena Ruan felt memories being pulled out of her head. Her head started to hurt like hell and she wailed. "Agu. Yen yen. Don't cry. Don't cry. Is your deadbeat dad scaring you?" The amiable woman hugged Lena Ruan and coaxed her. The three big brothers in the room, Sue's parents, Sue's grandma and grandpa, everyone gathered in front of this little life, their eyes cherishing Lena Ruan in this life, will indeed grow up in a happy family and live a happy life.